I don't know. Well, welcome. This is the very first Facebook Live show I've ever done. And it's a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. I do a lot of interviews and I've done some videos and talking to yourself is kind of weird. So here goes. We're along for the ride together. So first off, this is something I'm going to be doing on a regular basis, and right now I'm thinking every Sunday night or Monday night. But the question comes up, obviously, why do a Facebook Live show? And so the rationale behind that's really kind of a long story, but here goes. So with the state of the industry being what it is, artists kind of have to appeal to the gatekeepers, people in the industry that decide who gets the exposure that we're all trying to get. And so you can either appeal to the gatekeepers and hope that they like you, or you can start building it yourself, it being exposure. Build that exposure, build your supportive community, and really kind of build your music career or your artistic endeavor, because it's not just music, but in particular music. Build it yourself and have a go at it. So that's what I'm doing. And so the biggest thing for artists as they're trying to get their music out into the world is, how do you get it in front of more people's faces, in front of more people's ears? And so trying to find that exposure is a little tough. But it's also incredibly rewarding and fun, because you get to be creative and go out and do it. So we're trying to build a supportive community through this show and a few other different strategies that we have to kind of create more of an interactive environment directly with our supportive community. And so Facebook's a big part of that, and Facebook's been a big part of my music career since it started. So what's the show going to look like? Here's what I'm thinking, and we'll probably try a few things and go with what works. And I would love feedback from you guys to determine what works. Hey Val, good to see you. Please feel free throughout the course of the show here to ask questions, say hi. Let me know you're watching. But here's what the show is going to be. I'm thinking we're going to do a weekly, because there's two different shows. There's one for everybody. And so there will be one show where I'm going to get with, have different artists on, so that we can, so that I can showcase other artists that I like and that I believe in, and that I have relationships with, and that helps them and it helps me, and it's a great way to lift everybody up, so to speak. So I'll do like questions and answers, and we'll play some songs together. And you guys can always throw in questions. Hey Debbie, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. You guys can pitch out questions both before. You can send me question ideas, or during the show. I'll try to answer some questions as we go. And so that's one show. The show that is going to be exclusive for the patrons on my page, or the patrons of my music career, and I'll get into that more here in a little bit. They'll have a private Q&A session where they can ask any questions they want, and we can really pour into some in-depth stuff. And so I'm looking forward to being able to do that as well. Hey Justin, hey Becky, hey Christina, good to see you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Feel free to shout out some questions. Becky, I'm going to ask, both Becky and Justin, you guys both ask questions beforehand, and I'll get to answering your questions here in a few minutes. Let's see here. So, speaking of which, Becky asked, what do I see as the next step in furthering my music while meeting my family needs? And honestly, that's a tough question, because for a lot of artists, they get started when they're, just out of college or younger. Maybe they're not even in a relationship, but they certainly probably aren't married and they don't have kids. Well, I started about 5 years ago, well into a marriage, and I already had 3 kids. And so we've always had to kind of pay attention to how do you build a music career, but still be a good father, still be a good husband. And so that's been a tough thing to negotiate. So this year, I will have played more shows than any year that I've ever done. But I tried to bring my kids to as many of those shows as possible. And so I'm already over 200 shows right now, and I have one last tour left. I'm going to be well over 200 shows for the year. And so we are, while that was a lot of fun, and I love playing and performing, it wasn't as taxing this year because I brought my family on 2 of those legs for month-long tours. And so that helped mitigate some of the hardship, because honestly, as a dad and a father, and a husband, a father and a husband is what I mean. Being away from the family is the hardest thing. That's the toughest part about pursuing a music career. So, being able to bring them out on the road made a huge difference, and so many people were kind and willing to host the whole family for house shows, and so man, it was a wonderful summer. But that's you always got to kind of weigh, homeschooling your kids versus having them in school. And if they're in school, then it's tougher to do that. And so this year we were planning on homeschooling the kids, but we decided not to last minute. The girls really wanted to go to public school, and so they're in public school, and so that becomes tricky. And there's a whole other cost associated with bringing the whole family out on the road. And so obviously, if you're feeding everybody out on the road, that gets expensive. So we've always had to try to pay attention to the costs and that sort of thing, because music pays all of our bills. And you kind of have to have it. You kind of have to go all in at this point if you're in my shoes. So we went all in, and we've decided to get off the road a little bit, because with the girls in school, with the kids in school, it's going to be trickier to be away from them so much. So the idea being, if most of your money as an artist comes from performing, how do you then make sure you're around your family enough? And so the patronage concept, the patron concept makes a lot of sense at that point. So we're creating, we've created a 2-tiered system that you can buy into, and this will help me to create more content. So I'm releasing more records, I'm releasing more videos, I'm doing a Facebook Live show that you are watching once a week, and so we're putting out the music to a greater degree right in front of people's faces. And so we'd love it if you'd share the video when it's all done, and anything you can do to help get the word out is always huge and very much appreciated. So getting more content written and out there helps drive more royalty revenue, and it helps build an organic exposure. And like music is like anything, you want to diversify. And so you can't have all of your money coming from one place, because then if something happens to that one place, then you are kind of hosed. And so I want to be writing a lot more music. I want to be pitching that to other artists, and moving to Nashville is a part of that. I want to be able to be touring, and living in Nashville and kind of being in the central part of America is a big part of that. And so creating more content and driving royalty revenue is a big part of that. So all this kind of wraps together, you see. So what is the Patron subscription? Let's get into that a little bit. And feel free to ask any questions. Ruby, Brett, thanks for tuning in. Brett Thompson, you guys, is incredible. He's a good pal of mine. He's come out on several tours with me this year, and he's going to be a big part of what we're doing moving forward. So stay tuned. He's also got some stuff coming out that's going to be really cool, and we're going to have a partnership together, creating some new content outside of the Bradford Loomis brand. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. The Patron subscription, let's get into it, because I have 2 different tiers. So I wanted to try to do something that was that is driving stuff that I need to have happen. Hey, my brother Doug is tuning in. Hey Doug, how you doing? So I wanted to have something that is driving things that I need to have happening. So like writing songs. So we're doing a Song of the Month Club. And we're doing the first tier of the Patron subscription is just called the Patron. And so what that consists of is, let me pull up my website here because I don't have it memorized. The Facebook Live shows weekly. And so this is going to be a part of that. And I already talked about that, as well as the Q&A sessions. The Q&A sessions is going to be the private Facebook group and streaming session. So if you're a patron, everybody gets to see that. And one of the things I really believe in is, because I've had to build this thing up from my pretty much from nothing. I've had to really pursue learning how to do this, because I didn't know how to do it. And so for me, that was picking a lot of incredible people's brains. John Skaggs, one of the first producers I worked with, taught me a lot. Kevin Sir taught me a lot. He gave me some really good advice. Holly Hansen gave me some incredible advice. And so I've learned, and there's some others as well, but I've learned from some great people, some foundational aspects to pursuing a music career. And so I wanted to be able to give back to that. And so one of the things that's always tough is if you have people that need help, and time becomes a commodity. And so with the Patron idea, with having a steady stream of income, I can give back and do mentoring sessions with people, and not have to charge anybody. And that always feels kind of dirty anyways. But then, my time is being taken care of. So that's a part of it, mentoring. Another part is creating a monthly video. So I have videos being generated every month that are new and interesting. And so I wanted to do one that's original. So I'll have an original Bradford Loomis video. And then I wanted to do one that's a cover song. And so one kind of, I think it's cool, aspect of the Patron program is going to involve that. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Another thing is premier access to all that content. So my patrons will get to see the videos. They'll get to hear the songs I've recorded. They'll get to hear demo tracks and scratch tracks that no one else gets to hear, and they'll get to hear it first. So that'll be a big part of it. Song of the Month Club. So I'm going to write and record a new song every month. And I'm going to try doing some scaled down stuff that I've always wanted to do on a more regular basis that may be a little bit outside the box from what I've stereotypically put out. But I want to explore. That's a big part of being an artist, is challenging yourself and getting new stuff out. Next is a signed show poster of your choosing. So we'll have 5 different posters, and you get to choose which one you want. I'll sign it and send it to you. And then also a personalized thank you letter. So that's the Patron package, and that's just $5 a month. And of course, you can pay more than that if you want to, but that's a big part of helping me generate consistent content. Hey Earl, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Earl is one of my oldest friends. I grew up with him and his cousins on my block, and I was in a band with his cousins called Combination Red way back in the day, and we were pretty amazingly terrible. It was awesome. So the second tier is called the Patron Saint, And so you get everything that the patrons did, but you also get back catalog access. So everything I've ever put out, and there's actually some stuff I've hidden that you'll get access to, stuff that most people haven't heard, that you can't find because it's not under the name Bradford Loomis. So you'll get access to that. You'll also get access to everything I've put out under Bradford Loomis, and then you'll get all these new rare B-sides that are coming out that are going to be harder to find. Hey Gene, thanks for tuning in. Richard, thanks for tuning in. Oh yeah, that's a cool idea. Richard has a song request, tune called Oceans. That's pretty rad. I'll see what I can do. Let's see. Okay, so the Patron Access, the Patron Saint stuff, you'll get back catalog access, and then you'll also get one concert a month streamed free. So on top of the Facebook Live show, on top of the back behind the scenes Q&A session, private patronage group show, you'll also get one streamed concert free, and I'll try some new stuff. So you'll be able to pick a cover song, and so 1 week, 1 month, you pick the cover song that I try next month, and I'll put together a new version of that song that'll be completely different than anything that I currently perform. And in that same sort of vein, I'm going to do a second video called Pick a Cover Song, where you will, sorry, my wife's making weird noises. You pick a cover song, and I'll learn a version of it, and I'll record it, and I'll put out a video for it. So you get to pick the song, and I'll do a version for you. And Jason, thanks for tuning in. Becky, yes, I'm so sorry that you don't have that in your hands right now. I will send it to you as soon as possible. Let's see. Okay, so that's going to make the Patron Saint. So that's a whole lot of stuff, and that package is $10 a month. And so I wanted to make sure that I was generating something that was new, that was unique, that only you have access to, and if it's something that everybody else gets also, that you get access to it first. So the whole idea behind this whole thing is, how do I create more of a supportive community where we're interacting together? And because music is community, and music for me has always been community. And so that's a way to build that from the ground up. And so that's what we're doing. Let's see. Any questions? Do you guys have any questions for me? Feel free to shoot out some questions. Doug, I will check out Human by Rag and Bone Man. I've heard some of their stuff, and I'll have to, I don't know that I'm familiar with that tune, but I'll definitely check it out. And I'm not sure if Rap God is a song request. Steven, can you elaborate on that? Let me know. I'll check it out if it is. So one of the other questions I had, how much is the second time? Nicole has a question, how much is the second time?
Tier?
Do you mean tier? Autocorrect, man. Does it to me every time. There you go, second tier. So the second tier is $10 a month. And so get you all that stuff for just $10 a month. Let's see. Richard Thompson asks, how's life in Nashville? Man, it's been awesome. It's really weird because it's like 70 degrees here still, and it's November. But I've had some great meetings and some great song writing sessions that I'm pretty stinking excited about. I have 4 new songs that we put together in the last 2 weeks, and I head out on the road tomorrow for my last tour of the year, and then I'm back, and I have December off, where we'll really be building into this new patronage idea. So one of the questions that was asked, Justin Hunt asked earlier this evening if I will be in fact doing some Christmas music. And so I'm announcing here for the first time, yes, I'm putting out one more album for the year, and it's going to be a Christmas EP, and I'm pretty stoked about it. And that ties in also, I will be doing the next live show will be next Monday, Monday the 13th, and I will be with Brandon B, hopefully. I say hopefully because I meant to ask him before the show and I didn't, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be cool with coming on the show with me. And so you guys will be able to, I'll interview Brandon and ask him some questions. And if you don't know, Brandon B produced my last 3 records, my last solo record, Bravery in the Bell, and the 2 Banner Days records. And he's a good buddy, and so we're going to be doing some writing and some recording for the Christmas tunes. So, I'm going to keep which songs I'm doing a surprise, but I will announce one right now. The first song I'm going to announce is Go Tell It on the Mountain. If you've seen my videos, you know, I love Christmas music, and I have a version of Go Tell It on the Mountain that I'm pretty stoked about. And so you'll have to tune in each week. So for the next 4 shows, I will announce a new Christmas song that's going on the new album. And so stay tuned next Monday. Monday the 13th, I already forgot the date. Monday the 13th, and I'll post the time so you guys can know all that. I've got to wrap my brain around time zone changes. So next Monday, stay tuned, and I will unveil which song I'm playing. So cool. You guys doing all right? You having a good time? Let me know if you have any questions. And I'm kind of feeling like, oh, great question, Nicole. Nicole says, where do we sign up? And I was supposed to plug that, but I didn't. So I have my lovely assistant, Kimberly Loomis, make a sign, bradfordloomis.com/patronage. Or you can just go to bradfordloomis.com, and there's a tab that says Be a Patron, and you can see it all broken down and kind of an in-depth explanation as to what I'm doing and why. Again, bradfordloomis.com, patronage. Check it out and become a patron, and I'd appreciate your support, and I'll get you some cool new stuff. So I figured maybe I'd play a song. Is that all right? I have one in mind. Any other questions that I missed?
Doug would like to know if you're going to do I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus.
It's the story of my life,
I hate
bro.
that song. Carmen is now with us. Say hello to Carmen.
Carmen, how you doing?
Oh,
Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in.
Everyone's super excited about Brett with the weekend.
Well, I'm going to do one song, and then we'll wrap the show up. And I just want to say I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I appreciate your support. It's huge for me. It's very much the difference between following your dreams and not following your dreams. And it gets to the point where you have to believe that this is what you're meant to do. And I'm following that and hoping that that is indeed the truth. So I'm gonna do a song that's pretty new to me, but it's kind of become one of my favorites, and I hope you like it. If there's any Amos Lee fans out there, this is one of his tunes. Let's see here, Kellen. Thanks for tuning in, and Doug, you're a ham. Okay, this is a tune called "Sweet Pea" by Amos Lee. I almost said my good buddy Amos Lee, but I've actually never met him. That's one of the joys of doing something while you're trying to talk. All right, Sweet Pea. Here you go. Sweet pea, apple of my eye. I don't know when and I don't know why. You're the only reason I all about. Don't get your way and all you do is fuss and fight. You're the only reason I keep on coming home. I'm like the rock that you brought to. I always seem to falter in the way, just get in the way. I know I'm gonna crumble, I'm trying to stay humble, but I never think before I speak. Sweet pea, keeper of my soul, I know sometimes I can get out of control. You're the only reason I keep on coming home. Ooh, sweet pea, apple of my eye. I don't know when and I don't know why. You're the only reason I keep on coming home. Sweet pea, what's this all about? You don't get your way and all you do is fuss and fight. You're the only reason I keep on coming home. I'm like the rock that you brought to. I always seem to falter in the words, just get in the way. I'm trying to stay humble, I know I'm gonna grumble, but I never think before I speak. Sweet pea, keeper of my soul, I know sometimes I can get out of control. You're the only reason I keep on coming home. You're the only reason I keep on coming. You're the only reason I keep on coming home. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks so much.